The C-SPAN networks bring you long-form public affairs programming from the nation's capital and are a public service of your television provider. C-SPAN, created by cable.
Mr. President, I come to the Senate floor today to speak about the loss of one of Minnesota's own, and that's Prince. Like all Minnesotans, we were shocked today. We were saddened. I grew up with Prince's music, starting with Little Red Corvette when it was the 70s and 80s, and we won't forget Purple Rain in Minnesota. We were so proud of that movie, and everyone would point at every spot in the movie that they knew from growing up. He was a superstar composer, an amazing performer, and a music innovator with a fierce belief in the independence of his art. He lived his art. He believed his words were his own, his name was his own, and he wasn't going to let anyone own him. There was absolutely nobody like him, and there never will be. Prince sold more than 100 million records worldwide. He released 39 studio albums. He had 5 #1 Billboard hits and 40 in the top 100. He won 7 Grammys, an Oscar, and a Golden Globe. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2004, the first year he was eligible. But even with all that success, even with all that fame, Minnesota never lost that sense that he was a beloved son, our neighbor, the superstar next door. I was always so proud to say, Prince, you know he's from Minnesota. He was born there, and he still lives there. And that fact, that Prince was a proud native of my state, came through in all of his music. He pioneered the Minneapolis sound, that mixture of funk, rock, and pop that emerged in the late 1970s and 80s and influenced music for decades to come. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, Janet Jackson, Bruno Mars, Mark Ronson, Justin Timberlake, Beyonce. These are just some of the many artists who were influenced by that sound. But that sound didn't just influence artists, it influenced everyone who heard it. Prince's music touched our hearts, opened our minds, and made us want to dance. That's his legacy, and that's what we'll always remember. Prince made Purple Rain a household name. Like most Minnesotans, I remember the first time listening to that album. It was, as his band then was called, a revolution. It changed music forever and is considered among the best in music history. 2 of the songs on that album, When Doves Cry, which is especially notable because he plays all of the instruments in the song, and Let's Go Crazy, rose to the top of the charts. Let's Go Crazy includes a lesson important to remember on days like today. There's a world waiting for us after this life, Prince sang, a world of never-ending happiness where you can always see the sun, day or night. I know that today all of us hope that Prince is standing in that sun. Prince sang that song at First Avenue, the venue in downtown Minneapolis, when he introduced his band to the city in 1983. There, too, Prince shot some of the scenes for his classic Purple Rain film. Today, the club is a landmark and a must-play venue for some of the best artists. I've personally stood in Prince's dressing room, surrounded by pictures of him. The building is covered in stars with the names of artists who have performed there. And there will always be one star that will shine the brightest, and that's the man that made it the landmark that it is, Prince. Minnesota loves Prince, and Prince loved Minnesota. He was born in Minneapolis. He went to Central High School, where he played piano and guitar for a band called Grand Central. He recorded his early demo tapes with Chris Moon and at Sound 80 Studios in Minneapolis. Throughout his life, he called Minnesota home. He wrote a song about the Minnesota Vikings. He was always a big fan, appropriately titled Purple and Gold. At the end of last year, when the Minnesota Lynx, our women's basketball team, won the WNBA championship, he held a concert at his recording studio, Paisley Park, for local fans who got to enjoy his music well into the night. And just a few days ago, he hosted a dance party there and made a brief appearance. In some way, it was his last gift to our state, but his best and lasting gift, his music, his innovation, his energy. When accepting BET's Lifetime Achievement Award, Prince said, "The future is in your hands now, and the world really is yours." Well, that world is a whole lot cooler because Prince was in it. And it's a whole lot sadder today now that he's gone. My heart goes out to his friends and family and to all who mourn his loss today. We will miss the artist, Prince. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.